And this thing is pretty chonkers. My backpack's pretty average size too. So as long as you get one that's a little bigger, then it should be fine. Otherwise, I'll probably lower the scaling.
Hey guys, welcome to the studio. So today's 3D model is one that I didn't expect to work on anytime soon, but somebody reached out to me for a commission, and so I started working on it. And this 3D model is, of course, the little launcher backpack thing that's sticking out of Rosemontis's backpack, and it is brought to you by me. As I gradually improved with 3D modeling, I wanted to get more practice in, and Rosemontis's little backpack contraption weapon launcher thingy bajig is at pretty much just the right difficulty level for like getting some more much needed time in as far as 3D modeling. Finding the right resources or reference images for Rosemontis is pretty difficult because a lot of her artwork, her E1, her E2, the things sticking out of her backpack, it's not fully visible. But thanks to the help of some people from a few different Arknights discords, I was able to get a very pixelated image of the official artwork. And so this 3D model right here should be relatively accurate. I will say I did make some changes. For example, these little loop things here, I added so that the cosplayer can add some Velcro straps from the interior of their backpack, whatever they're using, and then that way they'll be able to secure it more safely within their whole backpack thing. There's probably going to be a few more things that I'm going to edit and modify from this 3D model. For example, this bottom ball motherfucker right here, I'm probably going to have it sticking further into this base area. That way it'll be much sturdier, because there's always, you gotta always think about the way that a prop might break as you're carrying it. But like I said, this was for a commission, and so because they live kind of far away, I kind of have to assemble it, paint it, and then just ship it out. And since this was done as a commission, me 3D modeling it myself and selling it, I don't think I'll release the 3D model either for sale or for free, not yet anyway. But I will describe how I 3D printed it, certain orientations, certain actions. It's fairly straightforward, but just in case someone wants to use this video as a reference in the future, whenever I do happen to release the 3D model, they'll be able to use this video and whatever descriptions, guides I use in order to make their assembly and their process of building it themselves much easier. Like I said before, the printing of it and assembly is pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You're just gonna need a really big 3D printer, specifically something fairly tall. Right now I have it to scale, and its X and Y dimensions are about 175 millimeters. So you're gonna need something around 200 millimeters will be fine, but the height is where it's gonna get you. It's at 280 millimeters. So something at 300 will be good. That's going to be somewhat of a restricting factor. That being said, if you do have a 3D printer that's a bit smaller, you can always chop up Rosemontis's balls and then you'll be able to print and assemble it a little more easily. But anyway, the only thing of note is that you're going to want to print the top section upside down. Let me put up the supports here. And then whatever support settings your 3D printer is good at should do the trick. As long as your wall settings are fine, maybe 3 lines, maybe even 4 lines, you can print this as at a fairly low infill, because it is a very large piece. You're going to want to save as much filament as you can. All the other pieces are fairly straightforward, but you're also going to want to print the rosy mid bottom. That's just whatever I decide to name it. You're going to want to print that upside down as well. This is going to be a fairly large piece, so you're going to need a chunky 3D printer, something that's about 300 on the X and Y axis, 300 millimeters. That way you'll be able to safely fit whatever it is you're 3D printing into the print space. That being said, like I said before, you can always slice it apart and then print it into smaller chunks and then assemble the chunks. As always, after printing and assembling it, you gotta spray paint it. Since Rosie's balls are black, I just went with some black spray paint and then sprayed it with a bit of metallic, like glittery blue sort of for the midsection, since that's kind of what the color is. And as you can see, it turned out pretty well. It's definitely a little bit bigger than I expected. Like I said in the intro to the video, I'm going to probably lower the scaling down to about 90%. That ought to make it a pretty good size for general cosplay purposes, as well as just, you know, putting it up somewhere as a display piece. Either way, I gotta get this thing shipped, gotta get this video done, and yeah, pretty simple, straightforward build. See ya!